So welcome back to Brewin and Qin. This is brown ale night in the Banks household. Although I'm apparently the only one who got the invitation. My wife's sleeping; she has to work early in the morning, so um, it's just me drinking brown ale. I did a review earlier on a buddy's brown ale. Um, really nice beer. Took a break, drank a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale to cleanse the old palate, and now I'm going to sample my wife's second brew of our house English brown ale. Well, the history of the beer is that way back when, about a year and a half ago when we started brewing, my wife wanted to give a shot at a brown ale. So using old Charlie Papazian's book, the style guideline chart for how to brew different styles of beer from the Complete Joy of Home Brewing, she picked out her malt extract. This is an all extract beer originally, and her specialty grains, and made one of the best beers that we had done to date. And it was probably our in our first dozen brews. Um, really good beer. We loved it. Everyone who tried it loved it. So when we got into partial mash brewing, um, and we got some brewing software, which is BrewPal for the iPhone, we decided to come up with a partial mash recipe based on the extract version of her first brown ale. That's the beer I'm going to be tasting now. I don't have a brewed on date because BrewPal doesn't keep track of that. It gives you the date for the last time you looked at the app, for that recipe in the app. But I think I don't know, it's probably 4 or 5 months old now. It's been in the bottle for at least 3 months. It's pretty not to style English brown, aside from the fact that we used Maris Otter for the base malt and a good amount. When I say partial mash, this was a partial mash, but with only a little bit of DME to get to the original gravity that we desired. We used Maris Otter as the base malt, about a little over 6% crystal malt, a little bit of pale English chocolate, and a little bit of roasted barley, which gives it a roasted character that's not typical of an English brown, northern or southern. But it's really nice. It lends a really nice beer. The hops were Challenger and Fuggle. Um, Original gravity on this beer was 1.052, and the final gravity actually 1.056 was our measured original gravity, and 1.014 was the final gravity. It's ABV 5.4%. Pretty dark beer, 24 degrees. Lavabond, I believe, is what BrewPal uses. So I'm going to crack this beer. I'm really familiar with this beer, and I really love it, but I'm going to crack this beer and, well, at least rub it in your faces what it tastes like. So, again, the brown ale classic, the Newcastle Schooner glass. It's pretty great, pretty cheap from Newcastle.com, along with this stellar shirt I'm wearing, which is a brown ale drinking shirt. This beer pours pretty dark. Again, my lighting is not so great here, but for me, I can see the ruby red garnet type colors that come through when you look at it through light, but otherwise it's dark brown. The aroma of this beer is darker roasted malt, some caramel, and the mineral smell that at least I get when I use things like 1098 or 1099, the whip red strains. I haven't gotten it from 04 so much, but I'm definitely using the liquid strains of this yeast. I get that. It's actually I've kind of stayed away from that strain of yeast in my beers for some time now, because I like a little softer fruitiness from an English yeast, and not the sharper mineral bite. But it works really well in an English brown. When I think English brown, I think things like Newcastle or Samuel Smith's Nut Brown. Those are my two favorites. Actually, if I can do this and show you guys, um, Samuel Smith's is one of my favorite breweries. If you want to see a better picture on my homebrewtalk.com profile at Nordy's Brewer 77 there. Um, I have a better picture of that. It's a collage of some labels and coasters I got from a gift pack. Took the labels off, saved them, made a collage. Um, so back to brown ale. Both of those beers to me, they have that mineral smell, that mineral flavor. I think it comes from the east, maybe a little bit from the hard water up there in northern England. Um, but I'm not a big fan of how much 1098, at least in my home brewery, has kicked the mineral smell. So I've stayed away from that in my beers. But onto the beer here. The head faded. It was about a half finger when I first poured it. It faded. It's just a little cap and lace now. Aromas again: caramel, dark malt, mineral. The hops are pretty much non-existent at this point. The flavor is light, roasty. You can definitely taste the roasted barley in there. It's roastier than most English browns, and not as caramely as most. Still very light body, low carbonation. The mouthfeel is smooth. The caramel malts come through a little bit, and there's a nice little bitterness on the back. She used Challenger 2 bitter, which I mean that's my go-to for bittering English styles anytime I brew them. I love them. Challenger hops are great. Fuggles are the finishing hops. Again, restrained finishing hops, not much aroma, a little bit of flavor. Overall, this is a really nice beer. It doesn't have the chewy mouthfeel that you expect from a lot of English styles. I think some of that's due to a lower than good mash temp, but this was one of our early partial mash beers, so that'll be worked out next time it's brewed. Um, Overall, I really like this beer every time I drink it, and I don't drink it much. I drink it, maybe one or two a month. But whenever I have it, I really like it. And one of the things I really get a kick out of with this beer is we have a lot of friends that aren't craft beer people. They, your typical BMC guys, but they always want to try our homebrew. So this is one of the beers, even though it's dark and that scares a lot of people. I explain to them they don't need to worry about that. Let them try this beer, and they always seem to like it. So, well, good job, Julie, my wife. Good job. Great beer. Um, we'll definitely be brewing this again as an all grain beer since that's how we roll now. So enjoy brown ale night. Anyone else?